So welcome everyone to the SU President's Candidates Debate. First off, if you're not speaking and if you're not one of the candidates, please have your microphones on mute. For the candidates, I ask that you please show your face. I know that we have one candidate missing from the screen right now, so if you could sit, that would be great, so we can kickstart the session. Students are welcome to ask questions. We would have a session where students would be asking questions. Candidates would be given an opening statement for 3 to 5 minutes and would also have an opportunity just before the end for about 3 minutes to give a closing statement. The session would be recorded and the video would be uploaded on our Student Union YouTube channel, so you can reference that during your campaign week or some other time in the future if you do think it would apply to a future role that you're trying to get into. Candidates, when they are not speaking, I do ask that you please keep your microphones on mute, and we would not be using the chat box. If the chat box is being used, that would be by Will and Joe just stating how long each candidate is speaking for. When you have a couple of seconds to a minute, Joe would put it down in the chat just to signify you, so we're not cutting you short, but you have around 3 to 4 minutes to respond to each question, but you don't have to speak for that long if it's not necessary by you. So are we all happy with that? I see nods. One last thing would be, for each question, I would be going Evans, Evan, Colin, Raphael, but it would not follow that order. So just wait for me to call out your name before you respond. You wouldn't have to raise up your hand necessarily, but for students who log in, they would have to do that. All happy? Great. Collins, we are ready when you're seated, because I can't see your face, so it doesn't necessarily help. I just need to know that you're there, if that makes sense. There we go. Okay. You're like the other way, but that doesn't matter. We can still see you. Yeah, you're sideways, just so you know. Steve, just because it's for you to, Stephen, we're happy for you to turn off your camera if you would feel most comfortable doing. Cool. Can you all still see me? Because I only see Colin, so is it just me? Yeah. That's great. So,
how is that?
Yeah, yes. Collins, do you mind putting yourself on mute? Do you mind muting yourself? Muting your microphone. Great stuff. All right. So first question, what strengths specific to the role would you bring if you do become president? I would start off with Raphael. Happy to repeat the question if you want.
Are we going to start with our opening statements?
Oh my gosh, I got distracted by the fact that we were trying to sort out Colin stuff. Yes, let's do that.
Okay.
Sorry, Evan. Yeah. Opening statement, Raphael, do you want to go first? Are you happy to go first?
Yeah. I'm happy to go first. So first things, I just want to say good evening, everyone. I hope everyone is well during this circumstances. So I'm Rafaela, and I am ready to make a change. I am excited and nervous, but the good kind. So I have so much to say, but I will not bore you with an endless speech. I just want to say a few words beforehand. Firstly, I'd like to say thank you for attending and thank you for giving me this opportunity. And I would also like to say that it's lovely to see lovely faces, definitely better than icons. And I firstly would like to say that I believe I'm suitable for the role as SU president because I know some of the struggles students have. Obviously, I don't know all, but I know like the main ones, which is the financial side, the encouragement, and the stress that it comes with it as well. Plus, I'm very passionate about UE and students and the people because I believe the students at UE are the greatest people. I've had great memories, and also I'm passionate for UE because I believe UE has given me so many opportunities and gave me so many events to learn from and just enjoy. I also believe I am suitable because I was a student rep for a year, so that gave me an insight on how more or less UE works when they are surveying and trying to understand how they can improve. And I'm also already familiar with some of the staff as well. I was also a PAL leader for a year, and I still am, but it also allowed me to improve my communication with students who were new starters and their expectations and what is being met or not. So it just kind of also allowed me, these opportunities allowed me to sharpen already some skills that I had, but to improve better, such as like communication skills, listening skills, which are very key. I also was able to obtain the knowledge of what are the expectations that people have for UE, their experience at UE, and also to gain the knowledge of what we are achieving and what we are not achieving. Also, this position will utilize the best of my skills, as I said before, listening and communication, as I'm a confident speaker, as well as a very good listener, as you need to listen to be able to understand. And also, as an urban planning student, is basically majority of my major to observe and to survey. So that also will come in handy. And plus, I'm very attracted to people. I really much like interacting with people and just being around people. I think that's where I get my energy from and my motivation. And I think people inspire people, and that's the catalyst that just goes kind of like a domino effect. So yeah, that's how it inspired me. And my priorities, if I was to become the SU president, would be to focus on mental health, as that has been very much impacted by the current situation we're having with COVID. I would do that through not only improving already existing resources, which are really good for students, but to also create a safe channel where all UE students can communicate, because I do understand first years are struggling to meet their peers, especially that there is that lack of hanging behind the classroom, getting to meet everyone, or grabbing lunch with people. There isn't that anymore. So it causes a distance between them. So that really impacted them, as some of them did say they felt isolated. I also want to support students the best I can through during and post COVID. During COVID, like as I said, we don't know how long it will last. However, I do believe that during COVID, we should, even though it is not an ideal time, and there is some sad things, to also bring back the happiness and bring back the joy. So I want to attempt to bring back and make justice to events that we had that we so much enjoyed, like the talent show, the business case competition, and a lot more events that we enjoyed. And I also want to try and find the support, try and provide support or find more potential support for finance side for students. So possibly create another system for loan, or in other cases, as I understand, rent is increasing and currently people are out of jobs due to COVID. And Yes, and lastly, with other campuses, I do want them to merge more, as I do feel Frenchy has the spotlight and the others sometimes can feel a bit small or forgotten. So I do want them to all get together and contribute and add to each other, as each campus is special in its own way. So
Thank you, Raphael. Thank you, Raphael. Evan, do you want to go?
Yeah. Cool. Am I ready to go?
Yes.
Fab. Thank you. Thank you everyone for coming tonight or watching this video online. My name's Evan. I'm of course running to be the president. I'm one of the former vice presidents of societies and communication. But my kind of opening speech is split into two parts really. One is my vast experience with both UWE and the Students' Union, and the second one is my 5 ambitious manifesto points. As your Vice President of Societies and Communication, I organised the Refreshers Fair, which welcomed in 1,200 plus students into the university and saw a 44% increase in society memberships. I met with MPs on housing issues during that first lockdown that we had, and helped manage societies with, of course, loads of cancelled events because of the lockdown. Yeah, and just finally on that, I also made sure that the Society Awards still ran, even though I don't think any of the awards, other awards did in a timely fashion. But yes, let's move on to what I will do as your president, because we say I've got a proven concrete record of achieving results for students. Everything I say with experience, and I say with having the contacts within the university and the Students' Union and societies and students across campuses. Yes, anyways, but what am I going to do if I get elected? That's 5 key points. These are COVID accountability, the environment, mental health, housing, and finally making the Students' Union work for you. We need a fair and just academic system that shows clearly how seriously the pandemic should be taken. And we need to ensure every assessment is fair and equivalent to previous years. Academics have done a great job changing them, but there are those that slip through the gaps, and there should be none that do. And on sustainability, I'll be pushing for carbon neutrality to have it most of the way there by 2025, and then carbon negative by 2030. The university have committed to being neutral by 2030, but I want to push them on it. I want to say, hey, we should have done this 30 years ago. Let's get going. And yes, on mental health, I want to ensure every student has access to the support that is promised at the university. Part of this problem is that people don't know the support that's there. Part of it is that the support isn't there. So I'll be working hopefully very closely with the Vice President Community and Welfare on that one. And finally, the housing and rent. I won't be afraid to organise a rent strike if it's required, UWE owned or otherwise, working with the University of Bristol's Student Union, their presidents, who've done the same. And finally, making the Student Union work for you. This means access to Student Union marketing, but also representation. I want to be incredibly accountable to you. So that means video blogs saying what I'm doing, normal blogs saying what I'm doing, active social media, as I did have as VP Socks and Comms. There are a few more points on the manifesto, but I will mention them. It's there for it to read. But that is my 5 key priorities. So finally, as your president, I will listen to you. I will be accountable to you. I care about all campuses. While I was VP Socks and Comms, I spent a day every week on Glenside for the entire year, which is something none of the other presidents did. I care about all students, international students, part-time students, nursing students, psychology, art students. I don't want anyone to feel as though they're the outsider. They're the outsider student. They don't fit in the mold. Everyone cares. Everyone has their complex multitude of issues, to them, especially with this pandemic. So a vote for Evan is a vote for experience, both in the university. I've been a student rep, a PAL leader, a student ambassador, and within the student union in my previous role, but also as a student council member, sustainability committee member, and the presidential lead, and the NUS conference delegate one year, and being part of 5 different societies as well. But a vote for Evan is a vote for an ambitious but achievable manifesto, and a listening ear. Thank you very much, and I wish my competition the best of luck.
Thank you, Evan. Collins, your opening statement.
Thank you very much. Hope you all can hear me. It has been a long time coming. We have had a great time with all the students. This was before the pandemic hit. And now we are all struggling together through this pandemic. And I'll be running for your student union president. And I'm so glad and honored that you, my friends, and the students around the campus have motivated me to see my potentials. And I assure you, I'll use my potentials to the fullest to fulfill your needs, to get you engaged, and to listen to your problems at all times, especially in real time. My manifesto is strategic. It's based on 2 things, that is during the pandemic and after the pandemic, the post-pandemic. There are things I will achieve during the pandemic, and there are things I will achieve in the pandemic, given the fact that we are not sure when all this will come to an end. My manifesto and what I bring to the table is I'm a very fun guy. I love all my friends. I love people around me. I love communicating with everyone. I am very engaging. I like to solve my problems by engaging the people I'm solving the problems for. I love getting everyone involved so that we get a perfect idea of how best to serve the students or how best to serve everyone at large. What I would bring more to the table would be the fact that I've been the president for East African Society, and during that time, the society was dead and was gone. It was all back to the ground. I'm happy to say I restarted the society working with Evans, who I'm now running for with this post. He was quite helpful, and I thank Evans for that, and successfully started the society and successfully managed it till the end of the year. My manifesto is quite simple. It focuses on 4 things. It focuses on health and safety. It focuses on safety. It focuses on student education, quality education. It focuses on having the best representation for all. And lastly, it also helps to talk about the issues we have as students, which is health regarding to the pandemic. When it comes to my first point of quality education, I would like to lobby a way to find solutions to home studies. That is, either find a student kit, either a package. Every student has a package that will help them get their education ongoing and successful. And after the pandemic, I will ensure that at least we have sleep pods, we have a living room, since we're having new buildings, we're having new structures coming up. Therefore, we have space to the university where we can have some conducive environment for students to study, to have either living room or some sleeping pods for them to relax, especially for students who do long hours. On my other issue, I have health and safety. Health and safety is quite a big thing right now, because we have students not in our reach, students far away, and we would want to get to these students as much as possible. We don't know what students are going through, both physically, mentally, sexually, and in kinds of ways we don't know. So we want to get all the students and be able to understand their health needs. And this can be done through providing efficient drop-in sessions and call-in sessions. Call-in sessions whereby you will have an immediate answer, and drop-in sessions where you'll have someone readily available to listen to you. Furthermore, I say I will save students money. Right now, students are paying a huge amount of money, and they're not working, they're not part-time jobs, and it's really hard for them to manage their finances. As president, I'll ensure that I come up with a tutum account. This account helps students shop online with various forms of discounts regarding whether it's appliances, gadgets, or even home equipment. Furthermore, to save students money, I will see to it that at least through the education system, we get a finance for either a free internet package, because we are having so many resources not being used, and yet students use online a lot these days. So we either lobby to have students have an internet package that saves them, or have softwares available to them for free, whereby we don't have to have students pay for subscriptions for softwares. I encourage this because engineering students have a problem accessing softwares and successfully doing their work. So therefore, having free softwares will enable students save money. And lastly, representation in all forms.
Sorry,
that is,
I would have to cut you short just because we are on 5 minutes.
All right, thank you so much.
You would have an opportunity to expand on those points, if that's okay. So we have a few students on the call. We have, I don't need to call out the names. So if anyone has any question for any of the candidates, please could you signify by raising your hand, and then you can unmute. There we go. Vanique?
Hi, thank you very much. I have a question for each of the candidates, if that's all right.
Yeah.
I'll start off with Rafaela. In your manifesto, you talk about showing how our tuition is spent. That is already available on the university's website, just by a simple Google search. So what do you plan on doing more that you've said in your manifesto that will highlight how our tuition fees are being spent?
So that's a really good question. So I will be aiming to look at it not only annually, but also monthly, and look at it as if there is any potential to provide more towards the student financial support, and lead more towards that, and also analyze the expenditures that we have currently and the expenditure that could be improved. So what needs more financial support right now, and basically just analyze it monthly and more thorough in a way, and be leaning more towards the student needs currently and possibly in the future than just leaning towards what it usually is sent to, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Vanique, if I can comment, could we have one question that all candidates can answer so it's fair?
Okay. I don't know what to do now.
You can come back, that's okay. You can raise it again in a couple of minutes. That's okay.
Sure.
Are there any students on the call that want to ask a question? Stephen? So this would be a question for all the candidates, and then I would decide who is asking.
Okay. Hi, I was just wondering, why do you guys think that you're suitable to be SU president?
I would start with Evan. Evan, you have 3 minutes, and every other candidate will have that time as well.
Thank you for that question. That's a good one. I'm going to bring up the stopwatch because I don't want to ramble too much.
It doesn't have to be 3 minutes.
Yeah, I'll probably be less, but I don't want to be
Yeah, that's okay.
Anyway, thank you for your question. That's fab. I think I may have already answered this in my opening statement, so I don't want to repeat, but I'll just kind of go over it again. It's my experience, it's my ambitious, achievable manifesto, and it's my listening ear. To kind of go more into skills and stuff, through my course, but also through the VP Socks and Comms roles and other roles as well. I've grown very confident in communication, both public speaking and speaking one-to-one to people. I think as well I'm quite empathetic. I've been told that by people before, able to empathize with students, and able to really, yeah, care about what they care about. As Colin said when I helped him during during my tenure, I suppose. So there, yeah. That's your question.
I think I'm very capable for this post, and I have a strategy, and how I put it is through the four words, basically. That is mutual understanding. I'm here to easily have a mutual understanding between students and the SU and whoever is interested to engage. I want to have a mutual understanding so that we are on the same ground of understanding and of solving a problem. Two, I would want to extract people's greatness through the ability for me to scan the environment for opportunities. And as we know, our university has got very many programs. And with my networking skills and my talking skills, and I'm very persuasive, I will ensure I get the students the perfect events, the perfect programs that will help them achieve their greatest opportunities. And lastly, through integrity. I'm willing to work for the SU with all kinds of integrity so that you can trust me, so that we can have a perfect trust between each other, that I can deliver, I can solve, and I will provide solutions that best suit your needs. Thank
you. Rafaela?
Yes, so as Evan mentioned, I think I also said in my opening, but I also wanted to add that I believe I'm suitable for this role because I am quite driven, and I also am the kind of person who, if a group of people do come up and say they have an issue or something, I'm the kind of person who want to find solution. And I do also really like talking to people, as said before. So I would be more than happy to sit with people for a chat, and I want to have that kind of relationship with people where it's not an arm's length. It's more like we're here together and holding hands. And I also believe, as I was the UE Planning Society social media manager, that also gave me an experience to kind of understand better how to use social media and how to reach students better as well. So, yeah.
Thank you. Collins and Evan, on the notes that Vanik initially asked around fee transparency, tuition fees, and what the university spends tuition fees on, do you have any comments about that, or are you both happy for us to move on? You don't have to comment if.
Yeah.
Just to give you an opportunity to answer the same question that she did.
Yeah, just say that's a good question, and yeah, I've met with the chief financial officer of the university about this kind of stuff, and this big booklet full of things, and it's quite transparent. You can find how much the vice chancellor is being paid as well. Yeah.
Collins?
Thank you so much. I think I raised this issue amongst my points, which was try to see how we can get a student kit. Instead of financing all the facilities that are being spent money on, that is new engineering block, new facilities to replace where all things have been, I suggest that the university, or I will look into how the university can spend some of the finances to cater for free internet and provide either a study kit instead of building and having excess capacity, rooms that are free, that are empty and are not being used, and are spending a lot on energy to keep the school lighting or keep the buildings on to save some energy and have a good environment. So looking at how the university spends and according to what the student needs is what I'll try to investigate, so that the finances are well spent in the right directions that favor students, especially towards having a quality education while they are at uni.
Thank you, Collins. Vanik?
Yes, sorry. Hi, I'm back again. I'm just wondering how each of you would address the students that can be considered the missing middle, so the students that aren't on the university's radar or don't necessarily engage as easily as others. What would you do to improve their engagement and have their voices be heard too?
Evan, would you like to go first? Oh, sorry, you just sneezed.
Bless you.
Bless you.
The cough is all right. I need to get, I might sneak off for like 30 seconds to get more water if my throat.
No, that's okay. That's absolutely fine.
Thank you. Yeah, good question. Thank you, Vanika. I'm glad you're here asking some quality questions. I see engagement as a kind of pyramid where you've got at the bottom really wide, nearly everyone will engage at this level, or everyone will. And then at the top, you've got a kind of like the peak, which is the absolute keen beans. You know, they are the most possibly engaged with the student union and whatever else. So I'm probably a keen bean because I am a keen bean. But yeah, so for example, someone running and getting a presidential role would be, you know, at the top of engagement. They're being paid by the student union. They are, you know, working there. Whereas at the bottom is someone who maybe attends Freshers' Fair, and that's about it. And so I agree, it's really important that we have to think of all of the different kind of layers on that triangle. And I think it's a very broad question, because the answer is kind of different depending on the area, I suppose. Like, yeah, like for example, if we're trying to engage people in mental health resources, then it's going to be a very different approach to engaging them with sustainability work at the Students' Union or at UWE, because of course there'll be a plethora of different engagements that will be appropriate for someone's mental health, from crisis to you know, a well-being colouring session or something. Whereas for, of course, sustainability, it's less urgent on the individual. You know, everything. No one needs a crisis team for that. So yeah, in general, what I do personally though is try and speak to people as much as possible. My figurative door, given it's COVID times, will always be open, and I will always want to meet with students one-on-one, groups of students, societies, students from Bauer, Glenside. I'd always want to meet with them and see, hey, what's good for you? Why don't you want to engage with stuff? Is it because it's boring? Is it because you're just doing fine? Or whatever else. So yeah, speaking to the students and seeing it as this broad thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Evan. Collins?
Thank you. Thank you so much. Engaging is one of the things that I'm really good at. I'm really good at networking with people. I'm really good at working as a group and to achieve a common goal. So like I said, first is create a mutual ground, create a mutual understanding. And once I have a mutual understanding with the students to best understand how to deliver what they want, what programs do they want, how do they want to approach the university with their student issues, how do they want to approach the university with their educational problems, how do they want to approach all these kind of things, finding a mutual ground first. And then from there, I will deliver programs that will engage students. I'll create a virtual house where students can come and join and have like an Astro World kind of feeling, where they can come, have fun, join, meet their friends, have a chat, have a topic of discussion. I will also have, I'll also create podcasts to enable students get an understanding and get involved in business podcasts, in mental health podcasts, in educational podcasts, create content that helps students. There's no reason why we should be going to other platforms to get educational content, yet we can create educational content and spread it around social media, or create an app that provides these interesting kind of lectures and videos for students to get engaged more during uni, and also provide a very effective online platform for students to study, because the current platform we're using has so many issues, and we're using so many softwares, Microsoft Teams, we're using Blackboard Collaborate. So finding all the possible solutions through which students can get actively engaged, especially with sports, to keep them healthy and physically fit for whatever is coming in this year. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Collins. Rafaela?
So I believe that for engagement, it is kind of more a complex side, but I think as you start to understand the students and the factors that affect their engagement also allows you to kind of understand better how to react or how to approach in a way. So I do believe that and one of the ideas that I might look into the future, however, the whole logistics of it has to be analyzed, would be to have all students have kind of a buddy system. So someone who has possibly been in the university for a bit longer than that person, either first years with third years or second years with masters, just so that person can have kind of as well as a safety net and support, someone who has possibly gone through a similar situation, such as, oh, lost interest in the subject or no longer engaged because it's taught in a different way where it doesn't attract them. And so, however, I do believe as well that we can bring in other resources as well to engage more people, like like Collins and Evan said, producing other media like videos and podcasts, and also just interacting and finding a way where it will work for them and also a way that is suitable for them. So if they prefer learning through listening, or if they are more engaged through a visual kind of system, then we should try and adapt so they can also feel attracted to it and have that kind of fire that brings you and motivates you to get that degree.
Thank you, Rafaela. Jane, I see your hand up. Would you like to comment?
Yes, I would. So basically, you all three of you have highlighted mental health in your manifesto. So how do you, like, I'd like you guys to expatiate on how you intend to improve on the already existing mental health and provisions we have here at UE, especially now that, we're in a pandemic and we don't even know when things will go back to normal. So you might have talked about it, but would you like to elaborate exactly how you intend to achieve this?
Collins?
Is one of the greatest problems we have, and it falls under various categories. And I believe to some extent prevention is better than cure. If we find possible and we find a common ground to understand what students are facing, what problems they are going through, it will be able to help us find the right resources, because sometimes the university has all the resources, but we lack that bridge to work with students before they get into serious mental health issues. We don't get to identify these mental health issues even before they start. We don't get to understand or even have an education system that helps students within their study groups learn about mental health. So I say how I'm going to handle this is through having these programs that through which students feel comfortable to speak openly, like podcasts. This podcast will be solely organized by students to come and speak openly about how they feel, about how they failed an exam, or how they felt when they excelled in an exam, or how they felt when they lost their accommodation, how they felt when they had no financial support. And we find all kinds of topics through which students that can tip students' mental health issues and then discuss about them openly. The other issues I want to have is have accessible, readily available drop-in sessions. Yes, we have the sessions right now, but last year before the pandemic, most of the drop-in sessions were closed. Most of the health drop-in sessions were shut down, and since they could not afford since students could not come in or drop in, they thought they were wasting their money. And I don't think that's a right decision for the university to cancel a program, assuming students are not coming in. So I will have these programs with their leaders available at all times, both on the phone call and at the university, in case everything opens up to the community. So that when you call in, you get an immediate help rather than calling back later, or we shall send you an email, or we shall get you someone to talk to you. We shall ensure that when you put in that phone call, you'll have someone readily available to answer and will be responsible for how they take on the situation. And with the other issue with mental health I want to raise is students finding programs that encourage students to feel ease, to feel at home, to feel like university is just a place far away from home, but it's the sweetest place they can have, and they are open to come and tell us whatever issue they have, or have support in our disability team to ensure that the disabled are fully catered for so they don't have further issues with their mental health. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Collins. Rafaela?
Sorry, I lost the mic for a second. Yes, so I do believe for mental health, when I say improving resources, I believe the uni already has a lot of resources like the Feel Good page, and as well the exercise sessions that has been popping up on the student union page as well, and has been providing, which I had fun with. However, I do believe as well that we need to have a few sessions just educating people about mental health and educating them how to deal with it. I think also promoting more through the media, so, places where they can get resources to assist them, like the Feel Good page promoting Nightingale Society, and also show them where they could go if they want to possibly book for counseling or anything as such, as well as holding workshops that explain more about how counseling would work and why it's not a negative thing to do, as I do believe nowadays there's not such a negative stigma as before, but there still is. So I do believe through education is the best. I also think that having a interactive kind of workshop works really good. Like the exercise definitely helped me keep smiling through these days. But I do believe shorter sessions, like a 3-minute session that could just be to distress, like one that I'm thinking on top of my head now is screaming at your phone. Everyone just screaming together on their phone. It's like a 2-minute session and that's it. And also having like daily facts posted in a singular page where people could message if they have any questions about where to find resources, or if they have any questions about mental health. Definitely not to diagnose, because that is not how things are, how things work, but just to, if they have queries, how to help people, and if they're feeling very stuck and don't know where else to go. So, yeah.
Thank you, Rafaela. Evan?
Hello. Yeah, that's a good question, Jane, and happy you're here. Yeah, I think I just approach it from every possible angle. So for me, it's about the access to mental health support. UE has quite a lot already, but people don't know about it, or it's hard to access, or something else. So to get that access, this means advertising a campaign. For example, I was involved in Movember during my time in post and also beforehand as part of some of the societies. Also have part of inductions, have it signposted from everywhere. So saying to academic staff and other staff, hey, this is the webpage to go if you think, or to redirect a student to, or etc., the whole cohort, to put out to them. And also like to work on the root causes of mental health issues and why people may be feeling either anxious or depressed or anything else. And so housing and rent, and also climate anxiety as well, are super important, I think, in tackling mental health, because of course, you're going to be feeling unwell if you've got nowhere to stay, or if you're paying way too much rent and you're not sure where the next month's rent is going to come in. But honestly, I think what I would do is try and find as much of the student experience as possible and gather that, see what's already going on at the university, do my research, do my research, talk to people, see what's there, and then see where these things don't overlap, where the student experience for some reason isn't matching either the support they're given or what the university is saying about the support. And so finding the missing parts in between.
Thank you, Evan. Vani, can see your hand up. Would you like to ask another question?
Yes, hopefully this would be a last one. Thank you for your time. I'm just wondering, you've all had an aspect of rent and finance in your manifestos. Instead of reiterating what's said in your manifestos, can you maybe dig a little deeper and just explain how you would address the rent and the payment issues with regards to rent in your manifestos? What would you do to help students in that way?
Rafaela, do you want to go first?
So I would firstly try and support them by, as I previously mentioned, the potential add more to the financial support for students. So like there is the temporary loan or another system in place where they could find support financially. I would also try and get to a discussion going with local landlords or student landlords and discuss with them and explain to them about how students currently, or not currently, but always have been some students, or majority of us, has been struggling financially, and ask them if they could decrease their rent, and if not, try to understand why they couldn't, as well as look at uni-owned accommodations and see if we can do something about those prices. And and just communicate with students and as well assist them to try and find more financial friendly student places, either nearby the university or in the city center where they prefer. I do understand that there's already the Hall's Life, which helps a lot, and the Facebook page. So possibly in this forum that I do hope to create online, where UE students will be able to interact, to also have inside that forum an area where you will be able to discuss and find as well flatmates or roommates if you wish.
Thank you, Rafaela, and just realized I was on mute. For the student that just joined us, would you like to switch off your camera if that's okay? Thank you. Evan, do you want to go next?
Sure. Regarding rent, firstly, awareness of the Student Union Advice Centre, which gives advice on this type of thing, is always great. And they're proper professional Citizens Advice Bureau people. So that's fab. But in the past, I've spoken to local Bristol MPs. It was Thangnam, I remember the name, Thangnam Debonair, who was the Shadow Secretary of Housing and Homelessness, and also a Bristol MP. So as a president's team, we talked to her and another MP, I think it was Luke Pollard as well, about these kind of housing things, and they eventually raised it, I believe at the Bristol Council or something as well. So we gave the student case to them, because of course they have much more power than we do. But also, I kind of reiterate what Rafaela saying about talking to landlords, talking to the university. But I go, but I go one step further, and if that doesn't happen, and if that doesn't really get anywhere, then for me a rent strike is on the cards, which seemingly it hasn't been in the past, because it's a, yeah, but for the Bristol Students' Union, they have done this in the past and it has seen success. And so I'd love to speak to them about that, but I'm not afraid to, if these other things don't work, then going for the nuclear option, I suppose. But yeah, holding a rent strike and having that organised, yeah.
Thank you, Evan. Collins? Collins, you're on mute.
Thank you so much. With the MPs, I reckon I will speak to some of the people responsible, that's the MPs, the local leaders, to work together with the university and accommodation owners to come up with a scheme through which students can get either funding, or through this scheme we advocate for cheaper and affordable accommodation throughout the university or for the university students. The other way I would help with finance other than rent is come up with a campaign to help students, a campaign through which students can raise money for themselves, and these funds will be available for students who really are on the ground, because there are levels at which students are either having financial issues. They either don't have food for accommodations, they can't afford bus fares, they can't afford meals, or they can't afford the rent itself, or they can't afford living in the UK generally. And having a scheme that is student run, and this allows students to have trust to either come and ask for funds, because they know when they use the student system that are already in place, it either takes them long or has requirements that really don't help them achieve what they want. So coming up with a campaign to help raise money for students that are really stranded and are in a critical place and are not getting any help from the university, from the local people or their parents. And furthermore is also to encourage students save money. This is coming up with, there are so many companies that are providing discounts online. Work with these companies to provide students with cards that can help them have discounts while they are shopping. That helps them save their money when it comes to finances. And for the issue of rent, like I said, I'll work with the local MPs to see how to best understand and handle this issue to provide affordable accommodation. Thank you.
Thank you, Collins. Jane, I note that your hand is up. We had a student join us, so we are just doing a round of questions from students. So please do feel free. We are close to the end now, so if you have any burning question, please do ask. But so okay, in that case, so we would go Jane and then the other students, and then would go to the closing statement. Is that okay with the candidates? Yeah, okay. Jane?
I have two questions, but one is specific to a candidate and the other one is for everyone.
So sorry, Jane, we can't ask a specific question to a candidate. So any question you're asking would have to be to all candidates. And because of time, could you just ask one question?
Okay, then I'll just ask a general one. So none of you have actually mentioned or talked about the attainment gap. Like, how do you intend to address this? Because it's a huge issue that has impacted a lot of BAME students here at UE. They're almost 13% or even more less likely to attain a 2-1 or first class. And UE has the highest rate in the UK. How do you intend to lobby the university to, tackle this issue?
Evan, do you want to go first, please?
Sure. Yeah, thank you for raising that, Jade, because it is, without doubt, a massive issue and one that needs to be solved, and quite an embarrassment on the uni, really. And it's great that they are, in some way, trying to tackle it. At least they were when I was there. I don't know what they're doing now. Yeah, it's definitely an issue that needs to be tackled. I'd of course work with whoever is the new Vice President Education in this, and I'd make sure that they knew how important this is. What I do know is that the university does know it's an issue and is trying to tackle it. So the kind of the, yeah, I don't, so it's kind of a prodding the university and saying, hey, remember this is still an issue, this is still going on, kind of what's going to happen. Yeah, and raising it. But I don't think, with a year in office, I can't think of some very quick, immediate action that I can take to kind of make it all better all of a sudden, because of course it's been going on for years, and it's going to, unfortunately, it's going to take a little bit of time, and I wish it didn't, because it's, yeah. But of course, representation is important. Unconscious bias training is important. Educating academic staff and otherwise on the attainment gap, and that it exists and that it's a thing, is also very important as well. So, thank you.
Thank you, Evan. Collins?
Thank you so much. With the attainment gap, first and foremost, I want to thank the VP Education who organized one attainment gap event last year. And I hope to continue with such events to not only pass on information for the attainment gap, but also pass on information to recognize students who have achieved something. And through that, once we get a network of students who have achieved something, use these very own students to motivate other students to get better at their books, get better at their studies, get better at whatever they do. Two is find a way to find solution to study disabilities. Most students have study disabilities that they don't come forward to address, and this, at the long run, reduces their productivity. And through this, I would want to come up with a program or use the university well-being services to help identify students' study disabilities, like dyslexic. Some students are dyslexic and they don't really want to look at a book. And some students are really, really lazy. Working with the gym will help students come up energetic and probably come to uni and study and take the lazy bit out of them. And more to do with education or attainment is to create content to help students get attracted to the course they do. I understand most students and the university provides a bunch of notes, a bunch of slides that are just full of everything we need to do. Providing educational content that is soothing to the students, that is coming to the student, that is easily understood with all the necessary links for them to comfortably study. This will help students attain more and reduce that gap. Furthermore, I would also want to promote creative events. Creative events will encourage students who are either falling out of uni or who are getting discouraged from studying or who are feeling that they have a hard time to study. I'll use these creative events to boost up or spark their ability to come back and, pass and look to get the potentials to fully extract their greatest potentials. So through these creative events, we shall have students get back on track. If they cannot achieve something in books, at least we will be there to help them achieve something either in business or in a project or in something else, so that we have attainment gaps in everywhere. After all, education is just a key, and you have other options to help you get and achieve more. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Collins. Rafaela?
So I believe that for the attainment gap, the main thing would also be to promote more of PAL, because I do believe some of the students may just be feeling overwhelmed and afraid of possibly being pointed at, not pointed at, sorry, but be called by the lecturer or teacher and ask a question that they are unsure about. So I do believe promoting the PAL sessions will assist majority of the students, and also possibly providing PAL for third years, as third years as well get overwhelmed and may feel still shy to ask questions. I do also believe educating staff on engagement and also in different ways of teaching might help. as it will attract different kind of people who have different style of learning. And I do also believe that by providing sometimes a voucher if they're having issues purchasing bus tickets or having financial troubles, and also providing possibly free coffee and tea at the library if they're having a long night at the library and now they're unable to attend lectures due to it. So I think it's the little things just to assist and support and help them carry on and just, yeah, keep going. So.
Thank you, Rafaela. Yemi, do you want to comment?
Okay, yeah, thank you. Please, I'd like to know if there are plans on ground to accommodate international students on arrival. And secondly, I want to know the strategies in place to support international students financially. Like I think Collins mentioned some earlier, but I want others to talk about how they think they can support international students financially during hard times. Thank you.
Thank you, Yemi. Collins, do you want to go first?
Yes, thank you so much. We have a couple numbers international students, and how I want to work with international students to help them save money is through helping them get into the hardship schemes. There are very many schemes that are helping international students get money, and these schemes are not out there for international students, especially to use. They're not aware of them, and I'll create more awareness for these hardship funds, because the university has got bare fund, has got a lot of schemes that are helping out fund students through their disabilities. Two, to help students with the finance, I would want to work closely with the embassies to assist students that are going through issues, so that each embassy knows their students and can cater for their students, not only to have a good education, but also work closely with the universities to ensure that the students are not highly charged, or if they're highly charged, their money and finances is to help them, for instance, buy student kits. So if international students are coming in, they're coming into this country to have an education kit. This education kit will either reduce your tuition because the university will have to purchase, or we will have to purchase it and lobby for fewer prices on our tuition, and also create programs that are online for international students to access at home, so that in case there's a chance, we can easily lobby the university to give us fewer prices on our tuition. To do with international students' finances as well is to help students find a very suitable accommodation system, especially when the new students are coming. They face a very big challenge whereby they don't know which websites to go to or which accommodation services to go to. So providing the best cheap accommodation services available for the international students through the university website and the SU website will help international students access cheap and affordable accommodation. And also promote the Tutum account more for you to be able to buy and shop online cheaply, so you don't have to spend a lot of money on buying products that are quite expensive. You can easily use the discounts available for you to get more savings on the products you buy. To conclude with the finances for international students is, I'll come up with a system or a program that helps international students have free internet, especially at their accommodations. So you don't have to pay for internet, pay for your SIM contract, and pay for all these subscriptions that you have. The fact that you have free softwares to use will help you reduce your finances. For the issues of expensive products, you have your discounts. And for the issue of tuition, you have an education kit that will help you access and have a lot of accessories to help you with your education, instead of purchasing them yourself and spending more money on gadgets. Thank you so much.
Collins. Thank you, Collins. Rafaela?
As an international student myself, I do understand the struggles of being international and the financial challenges there is. So firstly, I would create a page mainly focused that accommodations that do allow international students, as some nowadays have some troubles with that. And also that allows installments, as I believe that is very, very important for us, and also affordable. I also want to add a part of the forum where it is mainly focused for international students to possibly contact other people who might be from the same country, as I understand that sometimes that can be very nice to have, especially bonding the connection. I also will be looking at more financial support for international students and promote already the financial support that there is available. And also I will be trying to get more places to engage and as well be more student friendly towards international, such as find more accommodations where students who are international can stay and are in good locations and affordable.
Thank you, Rafaela. Evan?
Thanks for your question. On the first point, which I think is welcoming international students, if I remember rightly, that's why I'm quite proud of my Refreshers Fair, because that was there's a lot of January intake students, the majority of whom were international, so I was very happy that I managed to organise this big welcome for them, so that's cool. But I think I'd probably repeat a lot of what has already been said, really, about the scholarships that different faculties have. Although our hardship schemes, as Colin said, were also scholarships from faculties, and the digital capability scheme as well that can help. But there's also financial support at UE, specific financial support that maybe not a lot of people know of, that you can get advice, and also the Student Union Advice Centre, which has a big list of accommodation and can direct people to accommodation and give them experienced wisdom about how to find accommodation as well, because they dealt with, countless amounts of international students in the past who have desperately required accommodation. So yeah, part of it is letting international students know what is out there, not just at UE, but also any external funding things as well, and also Bristol charities that support international students as well. I've forgotten one. I want to call it Bucks, but it's not Bucks, it's something else. But yeah, I think of one in particular. So kind of the solution is trying to get all of this information into a central location, into a page, a web page, and getting it out to people so they know what's out there and can engage with it and can get advice and be directed to the right place. In terms of finance for international students as well, I think a lot has been, of course, extra course costs because of the pandemic. And so I want to try and campaign to get the university to pay or have a large discount on these extra course costs that we've been having to pay. And yes, so which would recuperate, of course, money, money back into our student hands. Yeah, that is all I have to say. Thank you for your question.
Thank you, Evan. So we're done with question time now. Thank you to all the students who asked very important questions, and thank you to the candidates for answering. So we're on to the closing statement, and I would start with Rafaela. Candidates have 3 minutes, and as always, Joe would post when you have 30 seconds left.
So from the debate today, question time today, I also learned a lot with you. So thank you for having me, and thank you for coming as well. Thank you for the great questions that now I will have something to think about and take back and work on it. I will also be trying to provide more for international students. As an international student myself, I believe we can do more and we deserve better for sure. So I would like to just say that I believe UE is already a great place full of amazing people. So why not make it better? Why not make it more deserving for you so you can enjoy more your uni time and stress less and overthink less? So all I want to do is try and fix some of the problems I can fix, try and just make your uni life more enjoyable, more fun, and just let the problems to only build up after when you're an adult. So yeah, but I do know life is not like this. So I do understand that there will be some challenges ahead, and I am ready to fight it with you by my side. And I do also believe that if you vote for me, you are voting for a better UE, because I will be fighting for you, and basically I will like to represent you. I would not like to be seen as your leader or such. I will just be someone representing your ideas and as well as your values, and just trying to fix some of the issues that are causing you to not have your full potential or not have the full academic success that you have, that you deserve, and that is there for you to grab. So yeah, I just want to say thank you. Please feel free to contact me if you have any other questions, if you want to talk, if you have any ideas that you would like me to take in consideration, please just let me know, and you can talk to me through Facebook or wherever you prefer to reach me.
Thank you so much, Rafaela. Collins, you have 3 minutes. You're mute again.
Thank you so much. Sorry about that. I have to do this by myself. My closing statement is quite simple. Vote for Mugi, that is mutual understanding to extract your greatness through integrity, so that I can pave a way for anything and for you to have a successful life. I don't believe I have the time to change anything or bring anything new. Therefore, I'm only here to make that what is available more efficient to cater for you and pave a clear path so that when you leave uni, you probably know what to do after your studies, and skill you to be ready to scan the environment for opportunities that best benefit you. So vote Mugisha Collins for the president of UE next year. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Collins. Evan?
Thank you. Yeah, if you want a president who will listen to you, be empathetic to your causes, who has a proven record in making promises and fulfilling promises, achieving results. Someone who will stand up to the uni and also work with them to make it better for everyone. If you want that, then I'm the president for you. If you want experience, if you want an ambitious manifesto, I'm your president. I'm the president for you. If you care about COVID accountability, the environment, mental health, I'm the president for you. If you want a president that's open to be spoken to, who will always be listening to you, have dedicated office hours, endless updates, funny tweets, maybe, but I'm the president for you. I have the experience, I have the ambition, and I have the ear to hear what your experience is and to make it better. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Evan. Rafaela has had to leave, but everyone in the meeting can note her text in the chat. So thank you so much both. Thank you also to Rafaela for taking part in this debate. I believe it has been amazing, and thank you to the students who asked questions. This video would be, the recording from this meeting would be uploaded on our Students' Union YouTube channel for reference, and students who would be watching this at a later time, this week is online campaigning week for our candidates, and the voting lines open on Monday. Voting would be open from 10 o'clock on Monday and run until the 4th of March, 10 p.m. So please do vote for the best candidates. Please do read their manifestos as well and vote for them on those things that you are interested in, you're passionate about. I wish you all the best of luck. You all are very strong candidates, and please do look after yourselves whilst online campaigning. This is something that has never happened before, and you're the first experiencing this. So please do look after yourselves. Make sure you have friends and family checking in on you, and don't forget your academic commitments as well. So on that note, I'm happy for us to end the meeting here. And yeah, hopefully see you on the other side.